Hello and welcome to my little corner of the world. Over to you, wherever you are. Thank you so much for joining me here on YouTube, if you're seeing me, or on any of the other platforms where we appear at TFTC. We are on Apple. We are also on Amazon, Spotify, you name it, we're there. And I love being a part of everything and being in y'all's everyday life. Thank you so much for joining me. It is now, we're coming into late June of 2025 as we are trucking through the year. This is more than halfway through the year. I'm just shocked we're already here. It really is flying in a lot of ways. We just had Father's Day, and now it's Father's Day actually on this day, June 23rd, 2025. In Poland, it's Father's Day. So happy Father's Day to all those wonderful fathers out there. I am one of them, one of the many enjoying Father's Day. I hope you had a good one and it was a great weekend for all those things that we do. Heading out to the park, maybe the ballpark, maybe that park out there by the river where, a lot of grilling goes on. That's how it is near in my neck of the woods, which is very nice, serene place over there. I like to do my running over in that direction in the Peachtree Corners, Georgia area. But this isn't really about Peachtree Corners. This is about artists, leaders, and creators right here on this podcast. I am so happy that you're here. I have a wonderful guest today. Her name is Aimee Nolte, no relation to Nick Nolte. That is a married name, so no blood relative there. Everybody seems to, we touch on this, seems to be looking her up, and some people think that, hey, maybe there's a relation there. Anyway, there really isn't. She is out there in California. We had a great connection there. The California people, I was telling her, it's just something's not right. Somehow the connections just don't happen out there as much. I don't know how internet works out there, but sometimes it's just it's not that great. Anywho, Aimee is a pianist, jazz pianist, by the way, but loves pop music. We get into that. And she also teaches, gives back a lot to the worldwide musical community, or more so here in the United States. She travels all over the place, puts on a lot of shows, and really pays her dues. Really, really into it. So here goes. I really hope you enjoy this. This was wonderful because I just stumbled on Aimee on the interwebs there just because of the algorithms and how all that works. It's kind of fun when you just stumble on something like that. It's really awesome. Anyway, have a good time listening to this. This is a wonderful chat, and I will talk with y'all on the other end of this. And how did you get into all this? I mean, more of, starting with how you are online, because I just stumbled on you.
hmm
Not that I'm so much looking to play the piano one day, but maybe I will take that up because I talk to a lot of musicians, I talk to a lot of artists, and do you get into this? And it's great to stumble on somebody like you where you could already start taking piano lessons through your website.
yeah, I wouldn't call it so much piano lessons, but I I'm kind of here for people who who want to move away from playing the piano or whatever their instrument is by only reading notes, like a classical tradition. So if if people are kind of already on their journey, depending on they could be working on playing rock music or pop music or gospel music or R&B music or jazz music, and or even country music, like anything that anything where you have to use your ears and communicate with people um, based on what happens in the moment. That's kind of what my channel's for. I at the beginning, I kind of started by teaching a more concrete kind of lessons about jazz piano and about how you can get started, the kind of the things that you might learn if you were in college or something. Um, but I tried to be really specific about stuff because I feel like a lot of times people that are teaching gloss over the details and they just say things like, "Oh yeah, if you really want to learn how to do this, you have to listen. You just have to listen. You have to go to gigs." And like they'll neglect the nitty gritty.
Huh.
so that was my first intention, was to pay attention to those details that other people, especially online, might gloss over. Um, and then I just kind of make videos about anything that I think is interesting, that other people might also find interesting. And that's where sometimes I make a mistake, because sometimes what I find interesting is maybe not as interesting to other people, but you never know. It's kind of like a journal for me, I guess. I just want to get the stuff that I'm thinking about out.
Right.
And then I feel like it's there, and it lives, and whatever happens to it happens to it. But I'm really fortunate to have found YouTube in 2016, because
Yeah.
yeah, it's helped me a ton in my career.
Yeah, yeah, it really has. And it's not about like, so the big thing these days is in trying to get a big audience online and things like that is meet people where they're at. So, which is kind of difficult for me because I'm just like that. I'm into niche things and talking to performers who are up and coming, and I want to help get them out there. So that whole idea of like trying to get the hits and to make tons of cash off of hits from that, it's really, really difficult. And
Mhm.
I like the idea that you're doing what you passionately want to do, and people want to come along for the ride. That's really nice too. And you could build an audience that way too. It just takes a lot longer. It's more organic, I would think. It's like when you build something like that. So yeah, very, very good. Yeah, and I love how your YouTube is laid out and how you do that. Do you do everything? Are you shooting and recording and doing all of that?
I am. I have one person that works for me, who runs my website and like the shop, like if people want to buy PDFs or whatever. And also he makes my thumbnails for me. But that's it. Yeah, everything else I do.
Yeah, to be a one person band is really tough because
Yeah.
you're already the artist, and to
That's,
really then have to do get your word out there, that's tough.
I know it's much easier if I walk into situations like in an interview, or I've done some online courses through my a streaming platform, Nebula, and when I go, I could tell you about that
Oh,
if you'd
sure.
like. But
Yeah, I do see that on here. Yeah.
yeah, in those cases, I just go to their studios in New York, and they do everything, and all I have to do is sit down and talk. Like that's the best.
I know you can't do, it's hard to do it all. Even though we have the tools to do it all, it's really, really difficult. If I go out and I'm shooting a story or anything like that, it's like I'd rather have somebody else worry about the camera and the focus and the sound, and I can concentrate on the editorial stuff to get a story out there. So it's nice to at least have a two-person, if not bigger team, not a huge team. You don't want to have too many cooks in any kitchen. But yeah, that's I'm sure. So yeah, how long have you had this website? It's AimeenNolte.com.
I think I've
How
had my
long?
website a really long time, but when I started YouTube in 2016 is when it kind of came together, and as I was putting my YouTube content out in the beginning, I would teach something, and somebody would say, "Where's the worksheet? Where can I read this?" And I would say, "No, like that's not what I'm about. I'm not about you only reading notes on a page and then playing what's there. I really want you to use your brain, and I want you to use your ear to figure out whatever, how to move from one chord to the next, or how to hear something and then replicate it on your instrument. I'm not about spoon feeding you like that." But enough people made the case in the comments, and wrote to me specifically to say some people are more visual than what you're doing, Aimee. And if there are any times when you could actually lay it out for us, like that would be helpful. So then I saw that there was a desire for that, and I thought, what if I just if I felt like it was if it was helpful to the video, maybe I could put out a worksheet and just charge $5 for it. Um, so that's what I did, and my website initially became a place to sell those PDFs for $5 a piece. And then after YouTube took off a little bit, I suppose the website became more of a way for people to get a hold of me, to understand what I do more, to come to my gigs, to buy I sell a notebook, like a staff paper notebook, like and some other merch too. The notebook seems to be what sells the best. And then just to, give people a little background about me. Yeah. But yeah, the website kind of just is there because of YouTube, I suppose, and so that people know where my gigs are.
Yeah. So speaking of the gigs, where do you play most of the time? Obviously, you're out in on the West Coast. Do you do a lot of traveling or just stay within your vicinity?
I do a lot of traveling. The closest local gig that I've been playing recently is down in San Diego. I have a monthly residency at the Jazz Lounge San Diego, and
Hmm.
every month I go down and do a concert. And later this month, I'm doing it'll be a fun night. It's a Lionel Richie reimagined night,
Oh.
so it'll be all Lionel Richie compositions, but slightly more jazz, I suppose. That'll be really cool.
He's great. Yeah, I
Oh
finally
man,
saw him. And, for years I put it. I was a top 40 kid too in the 80s, and because of my sisters, and I put him off for years, decades. And the Stones. Like this past, a couple of years, I've been able to finally see some of these people. But Lionel,
wow.
what a show guy!
Yeah?
I mean,
I haven't
he's
seen him.
just,
How was it?
oh, he's so funny because it's like, it's a little Vegasy in a way. I mean, he kind of knows that and just really likes to get the audience involved and the enthusiasm when he's at the piano and come on, this chorus and they'll all sing along. He's like Sunday morning. It's just so funny how he just really, he's so relaxed. And, at this stage in a career like that, he's just loosey and not taking everything too seriously. He has so much
That's
fun up
cool.
there. He really does.
That's awesome. He does seem like a really down to earth guy. I don't really watch American Idol anymore, but I did the
Yeah.
first season or two when he was on there, and he was my favorite.
Yeah, I think he does. I think he keeps it real and he's genuine. He's not like, Simon Cowell the way it was back in the early years, like being really just mean, grouchy and saying, "Oh, you can't sing" and all that. So I mean, it's really nice to see people like that. I liked when Steven Tyler did it as well. It's just
Me
very
too. I
constructive,
loved him.
consider. Yeah.
Yeah, he was another one of my favorites. Yeah. Yeah, good call, Bob.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and then I'll travel around.
Yeah.
Like last night, I was in. This weekend, I was in New York City. I got to be part of a really fun gala event, and did a fun performance. Wasn't last night. It was the night before last night. It's hard to remember.
I know, think of the days.
But that was really fun. I got to play with a couple of different groups, as well as do something on my own with a legendary drummer, Lenny White, which was a thrill for me. It was really cool. And later, I guess next week, I'm gonna go to Tennessee to Victor Wooten's camp and teach adults for about a week about composition, arranging, and performing.
Oh,
That would be
wow.
really cool.
It's
Yeah.
impressive. It really is. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, just to see that, it's not just performing, but you're giving back so much and getting people into music. Because, like, with AI coming up, and it's just so scary. Like, it kind of
Mm.
is also depressing to think that, like, AI can take so much away. But there's nothing like the human creation. It's,
Yeah. Yeah, man, if we hop into that, it's a different thing. But like, yeah, I've been really frustrated lately, mostly just about the people that are duped by AI.
mm,
I feel like there needs to be some, I don't know, prime time show on like ABC for people a little older so to teach everyone to recognize what is AI.
I know. I know. It needs to keep like even on the net, but you don't know what to believe. It's just like anybody could do these things and it's great and it's also sad at the same time that anybody can get a hold of things and be disingenuous and get away with it. And you got to call them
Yeah.
out on it, right?
Yeah, like I just feel like I should tell my grandparents and my aunts and uncles and stuff, like, if you see a little 2-year-old baby singing like Whitney Houston, there's no way it's true. Like, come on.
I know. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's so changed over the years too. So going way back, how did you get into all this? Learning the instruments, singing, doing all of that.
Oh, well, I think from a really young age, I had like some musical aptitude. I was singing all the time, and when I got in front of a piano, I started like figuring out melodies by ear.
Mm.
And so my parents saw that I should probably do this in some way, so they paid for piano lessons for me. I took classical piano lessons, but at the same time, I had a grandfather who played country western music just for fun, not professionally, and he would teach me in his living room about how to play chords on the piano, just by ear. He would play them on the guitar, and I would figure them out on the piano, and we would play together. And then I realized that any fun song that didn't, it didn't have to be Mozart or Bach or whatever, that I could hear, I could possibly figure out the chords for it and be able to play and sing it. And that lit a little fire in me from the time I was 7 or 8. You can see old home videos of me just playing little kid songs that I learned by ear, playing songs that I heard on the radio by ear, and singing. And it took me a while to find my way. I quit classical piano lessons when I was about 15 and discovered jazz a few years before that, and decided to go all in. And I bought books and I bought CDs to listen to, and decided that if there was a music out there where I could make things up on the spot and improvise, that was gonna be that was gonna be it for me. So that's my very favorite thing, is to not know what I'm gonna do before I do it and see what comes out. And that's what jazz has kind of given me. So I went to college and studied jazz piano. And sometime after that, in my 20s, I decided to start writing. And I got enough material for an album, and I wanted to sing also. Like, I had been discouraged about singing when I was a teenager. I thought maybe I could do both, play piano and sing, but there's this woman, I have a video about it on my YouTube channel, who told me, you have to choose. You can't do both. You could never be good at both. And
Mm.
I didn't have like a enough courage back then to say, but what about so and so, what about Elton John and Billy Joel and Carole King? Like,
Exactly. Why do you have to choose?
yeah,
That's too rigid.
I know. Yeah. So I didn't focus on singing for many years, but in the end, I think it made me a better piano player. And when I got the courage to say, screw her, I want to do both things, then
Yeah.
yeah, then I went from there.
How's the equipment for you? You have more than one piano, keyboard, and you have to travel too, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah, being a pianist and traveling can be difficult. I've listened for myself. I have a baby grand in my house, and then I have a couple of keyboards that I use. So if I go locally, I can take my own equipment. But it depends. Like this nice weekend in New York, there was a beautiful Steinway, and also a great electric piano, but I didn't need to play the electric piano. So that's the best, if I get someplace and there's a great piano. And oftentimes I don't say yes to gigs unless there's a great piano at the place, because there's nothing worse than getting there and having like a crappy upright and it hasn't been tuned, or one of the
Hmm.
keys is stuck. Like, you're at the mercy of somebody else's, yeah, instrument. So it's happened to me before, where I am going to headline something in another state, and I practice and get completely ready, and then just the night before the gig or something, whoever's in charge of it will call and be like, okay, so we got a Nord for you. Like, that's like a keyboard, right? And and I'm like, what? There's not gonna be a piano? Because it can be a naked feeling if you imagine yourself behind a really nice instrument making all the sound that you need it to make, you know, and then you hear that you have to play an electric instrument. I mean, I'll adapt, I'll do it, but I've shed a few tears over that in the past. Like, oh man, really? This is how it's gonna be? I'm gonna have to like face the audience, and people are just gonna see my legs sticking out underneath a freaking keyboard like a piece of
Keyboard.
plastic. Like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
just a completely different vibe. So I've tried to learn to always ask, and just to know what's coming. So I have a picture of that in my head before I get there.
Oh, it's so true. When I'm setting up shoots and things like that, it's like, the camera needs to be set up if I'm doing a one-on-one interview. It's like get the sound ready, mic ready, have that person come in. I've at the last second had to bring in everything, set it all up, and it's like, oh gosh, now this thing's out of focus. You learn these things as you go along. So it's good to be prepped and know what you're going to be expecting, and you know the room that you're going to be playing. So yeah,
True.
very big
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, it could be for anything. I suppose like even actors coming in to do a podcast for sure, or musicians or whatever. It just knowing what the space is going to feel like before you get there can be really important. So it's a good idea to, go look at videos of the place you're gonna be and see what other people do in that space. And yeah.
Yeah, how much are you on the road per year? It sounds like you rack up some serious miles and days out there.
Yeah, I do. I was actually thinking about that last night while I was flying. If I'm taking like 30 to 40 trips a year, something like that. Not a ton, but
Yeah.
like I don't know, two or three or four a month or something. Yeah.
Yeah, not like a crazy tour like a big act does, but they got a whole entourage as well. It's just you and your keyboard, and that's yeah, pretty much you. You're doing it all.
Yeah, that's right. I don't think I've ever traveled on a plane with a keyboard though. That's one of there's the term backlit. The places will give you what you need when you get there. So that's cool.
That's
Like,
good. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
You got a good roster of places you've played. Colleges. What's it like? Colleges versus outside of that.
Oh, it's so nice to go to schools and be like thrown back into a situation where everybody's just immersed in the music. Like that's the time in my life when I was learning the quickest and the most, and you're still young and you can absorb everything. So it's just a cool environment to go back to and see people who are they're giving up everything and they're paying, and
Yeah,
living there on the campus to be able to just live and eat and breathe and sleep music all the whole time. So I really like the energy for one. Um, and then it's just nice to meet people in person and see where they're at. A lot of times I'll run into young women who are maybe like the only saxophone player in the whole department that's female, or a pianist who's the only female in the whole big band.
mm,
And they don't feel like they can ask certain questions of their male professors. And so sometimes I come in and they'll get me one on one and ask me certain things about how to exist as a female in this very heavily male dominated jazz world. And that always, like, I don't know, I guess it makes me want to cry or something. Like, it's
mm.
super it's hard to believe it in 2025 that we're not past a lot of that stuff. But it's a nice thing to be able to go and meet people and offer what I can to help them on their way. Um, so yeah, I like the personal connections of going to colleges, I suppose, and being able to just hear people out on the internet. They can comment or they can DM me or something, um, but it's not the same as going and seeing their situation and then being able to give a little bit of feedback.
Yeah, that's really important. And it's still male dominated. I mean, you still look at the music industry, I'm sure this had to be so difficult, like back in the 1960s, 1970s. It's like, I think of somebody like a Stevie Nicks, and I go back to Peter, Paul, and Mary as well. How Mary, I've met her, and she was so
Mm.
strong, so strong. I mean, really, especially, late 50s, early 1960s. It's like that had to be really, really tough. And she was one really, really tough, very accomplished, very talented woman. Incredible. So I think about that, or Stevie Nicks. It's just like I think that's got to be really, really tough because it's such a rough business, and it was so much harder probably back in those days when there was far less awareness, about equality and things like that. So that had to be really, really difficult. But aside from doing all your traveling and everything, are you on the streamers as well? Do you see yourself, making a few cents off of every song you get out there? I have a fellow pianist friend who is into doing that, and he works really, really hard trying to get his music out on Spotify. Pandora seems to get him some numbers, but it's tough. He really works hard.
Let's see, do you just mean streaming platforms like
Yeah,
Spotify and
yeah, like
Pandora?
you get a song out there and you see if it's streaming and seeing if you're getting any revenue off of that.
Yeah, when I go to these colleges, I sometimes they'll ask me to teach a or give like a little master class about music business. And for me, that's all just stuff that I've learned as I've gone along. It's nothing that I was ever really taught. It's just trial and error. But when I do those classes, a lot of times I make a pie chart on a whiteboard and show all of the tiny little slices of income that I have, or larger slices. And that's one of them, you know, the income I get from streams of my songs. But it's not an extremely large one. Yeah, you have to get quite a few streams in order to, yeah, in order to make a lot of money from Spotify and Apple Music and everything. The game is changing. Um, I, you know, I've got friends that are putting out albums right now and just wondering what is worth it anymore. Like, is it worth it to actually print CDs? Like,
Hmm.
and who's gonna buy them? Where are people like? How many do you print? Like, everything's changing about that. Do you make vinyl? Um, and do you do a big press release, or do you kind of just, you know, quietly let people know? Everybody's kind of got their own style about how they do it, and it's. I don't feel like I don't feel like there's a concrete answer to how it's done anymore. I feel like everybody's finding their way and try to be genuine about it. Um, but you'll see, you know, you'll see many, many different ways that people are releasing music. I'm really interested in that. Have you noticed that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, that whole model of the music moguls and people going through the mainstream, it's like that's shrunk so much. You only have your Taylor Swifts and people like that out there.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a good and it's a bad thing. Everybody can do it. That's a good thing. And it's
Mhm.
also a bad thing. Everybody can get their hands on it, and the world is flooded with so much content. And everybody does find their own way. There's no straight and narrow as to how to go about it and to make it profitable and lucrative for any artist. Everybody has to kind of find their own niche. And
Mhm.
it's really so segmented too
Hmm.
as the years have gone. I can't believe how much music is segmented and good and bad again, but it's very, very difficult to make that kind of a career out of a career. But yeah, you just basically diversify your portfolio. I think that might be the way to go about that.
What do you mean by segmented?
Just the genres. I mean, if you look at terrestrial radio, how it was so unified, like say back in the
Yeah,
1980s,
yeah.
it just certainly felt you had your college radio and stuff like that off to the
Right.
side. But now, my gosh, with Sirius XM and
Mhm.
you have your 1980s channel, your 1990s channel, everybody's off into their own silo. So it's
Mhm.
really, if something great is coming out, it's not as unified. Media has just become that way. It's not just music, it's all media. Everybody's just that we got a zillion channels now. There's just so many different places where things can be, and it's very hard to be a mainstream successful musician.
Hmm. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, it's there's something in me that still wants. I do have Sirius Radio, and I've got my presets, and I'll listen to those at times, and I'll even go to regular radio too to see what's going on there. But I feel like that's mostly the older generation doing that. Like when I've got kids in their 20s,
Hmm.
and when we're in the car together, they're, you know, I always let them play music from their own phone, and it's always the playlist. You know, they're curating their own
Hmm.
playlist. Like some of my kids, every month they'll make a new set of tunes that they want to listen to for the whole month, and it is not segmented. Everything flows together, and you know, if I were to ask them what genre this music is or what do they think it is, they probably couldn't even give me an answer. A lot of the times things are genre fluid, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think if you just like stumble on like I have a playlist from Runner's World and that's all over the place. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
I would never have known about Sabrina Carpenter had I not downloaded that to my phone. So things like that, it
Hmm.
does help. I mean, it can curate stuff from different worlds and different world music too into your playlist. So yeah, hopefully going forward, like this Gen Z crowd, I have a 27-year-old, so it's like,
Hmm.
yeah, it's the same kind of thing. Just downloads that, and there is stuff from all over. Yeah, definitely some world music in there, which that is a good thing. But
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
tough to compete. It really is. So where were you from originally?
Oh, I'm from very northern California, a
Huh,
tiny town called Weaverville.
okay. I think I've heard of that. I don't know why I kept thinking East Coast, but that's where I
Hmm.
think so much comes out of the East Coast as well. Yeah, there was one video I think I saw on your YouTube channel, and somehow the name Billy Joel keeps coming back into my universe. I've had some
Mm,
people from his band on my show here.
cool.
And I saw that you did basically like a half hour on the single he put out about a year and a half ago now. And I like how you deconstructed that and how, not just how the song was built and the little parts that you were talking about, but like how it was marketed and where that was going.
Mm.
It was like, is this ever going to chart? I don't know. I thought that was very, very interesting.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, that was like, yeah, it was a letdown to see somebody like that. I think at the time I made the video, I think it might have changed after, but his new single, you had to go looking for it on his Spotify, right? Like it wasn't
Oh,
one
yeah.
of the top 5 songs because that's Piano Man and she's always a woman, right? Like he can't even with a brand new song get more streams than than his hits. I mean, but he's Billy Joel, so his hits are getting a lot of streams. It's a strange thing, but back in the day, if you put out a new single, somebody's gonna go, they're gonna go buy the 45. They're gonna go buy it on. Remember, you could buy singles on
Oh, yeah.
cassettes. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
like, and because it was new, it was gonna be what everybody was scooping up. Everybody already had his albums from previous decades, right? Why would they? They're not going to spend more money on that. They already have it. Like, yeah, so the game changes. I mean, it
Yeah.
always has. It just is faster now because of the world we live in, and who knows how AI will change the way that we release music. Also, I haven't even really thought about that, but I'm sure it will. I don't know if we can get a handle on everything as it happens. I guess I'm just afraid that things are going to change so fast. Nobody will feel like they have a grasp on it anymore.
Yeah, I really root for the legacy artists. Not that they need the money or anything like that. It's just to see them create, and it's so inspiring to see a legacy artist come out and actually has something to say, even at
Hmm.
their ages, 70s and now in their 80s. I mean, I just love Paul McCartney's stuff.
Hmm.
Really, always rooted for him ever, really the last 36 or so years. And then finally, I saw him in concert like 3 times. But
That's
yeah.
great.
I love knowing. I mean, what's so inspiring is you were in the biggest band in the world. Nothing ever really could even reach that. And that you had, a second and a third act beyond that.
Hmm.
And just so inspiring to see that. And they're still creating and they still got it going. It's like
Oh yeah.
exercise for the brain, as you know.
Yeah, and he could still fill huge stadiums
Yeah, yeah. And even, and
with
Paul's
young
like,
people too.
yeah, 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 exactly. And getting young people, the future generations into it and getting them inspired and hopefully maybe them leading them into music as well, some of them.
Hmm.
But it's nice. He's like, I'm gonna do my new song if you want to go take a break or whatever. But it's nice that they're even doing that. It's like
Yeah.
I think Billy is so hard on himself, and I talked to his sax player, and he's like, yeah, he's incredibly critical of himself. He says, you can feel it from the stage if we do a deep cut, especially
Hmm.
doing the new single. It's like they don't want that. They want the vibe. They want the energy, the entire concert. So kind of depressing. Like, yeah, he dropped the new single before he stopped touring and all that, and Yeah, that is kind of a bummer, but they could feel it. They could feel the vibe from the stage if it's not familiar to the audience because there's just so many familiar songs.
Yeah, I, I don't know. I think I'm a little young to know like because I didn't start going to concerts till the very late 90s. Um, but can you remember going to how much older are you than me? Sorry, I didn't ask before. I'm 47.
I'm a little bit older. I'm 11 years older than you. So yeah, I do remember. I went to concerts. I wanted to start when I was way younger, actually. I would
Uh-huh.
love to have seen Wings there. I was about 9 when they toured. So it's
Well, yeah,
like
yeah.
I knew about certain things. I really wanted to see the Stones, put them off for decades. But Billy Joel was my second huge concert. Actually, the very first concert I went to was in the summer of '78 to see Barry Manilow, who's just
Wow.
he's an incredible talent. People, he's made fun of a lot. He's schlocky and whatever. They talk about a great piano player, great showman, but gosh, the songs are
Yeah,
just
great
incredible.
composer. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, really, and just a great showman. But Billy Joel was my first big arena show where I was a teenager. That was on the Innocent Man tour.
Do you remember if he played any deep cuts or any new tunes that like what that was like?
The new tunes were very, very accepted because off of Innocent Man, just
Uh-huh.
like that week, Longest Time came out, and people already
Hmm.
knew it. It didn't feel like the whole place was kind of going, shallow and dark. It was very accepting, the stuff off of that album. So yeah, back then in the 80s, yeah, it was very much accepted, the new stuff. And some deep cuts. He did Stiletto from
Hmm.
52nd Street and beautiful live song. I mean, people just reacted very well to it. So yeah, that's definitely changed over the years where you're just, he's just like, it's the hits, it's the hits. You can't veer from that. He's kind of boxed himself into that, but you can't argue with success either. Those shows has still been getting sold out.
Yeah, of course. That's cool though. You still remember that he played stiletto and how it
Oh my
was
God.
received. That's cool.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I've wanted to hear it again ever since too. It's like, oh, it's one of my favorite. He's dropped that years ago. In more recent years, he was playing Zanzibar and I saw him up close doing Root Beer Rag. I got a really good seat to that show in '07. And
Oh, wow.
talking about hitting the keys with those big fingers. I was like, I was amazed. It's like, I don't know how you're doing this.
Man, yeah, that's so cool. The moments like that'll stick with you forever. Love it.
Yeah, they really, really do.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Did you listen to people like Billy Joel, Elton John, Paul McCartney growing up?
Yeah, and not a ton growing up. I was a little sheltered in my listening growing up because I was in such a tiny town and there weren't many radio stations. So I was kind of like whatever my parents owned, I would listen to. But as I got out in as I remember, you remember BMG and
Yeah.
Columbia, like you could get like 12 CDs or whatever.
Columbia Records and Tapes Club. That was
Yeah, right. The magazine came out. And yeah, that's when I started. Oh man, I better learn. Like if I'm gonna be a serious musician, I'm gonna have to know the Beach Boys catalog and the Eagles catalog and whatever. So I just I would buy greatest hits albums
Sure.
and try to learn everybody's tunes, and then I became an avid radio listener too, and because I living on the West Coast, you always drive a lot. And so I listen to every channel. And I think on my website it says that I know over 1,000 tunes and can play any of them at the drop of a
Hmm.
hat. That might be true.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I think like I mean I tried to kind of put a number on it at some point, but yeah, I could turn on just about any channel and probably be able to sing along. Um, Except maybe brand new country. That's not my favorite thing. But I do have siblings that love it, so they'll tell me songs from time to time that they think I would like, and then I'll
Yeah.
I'll go listen to them. The worst is when I don't really like them, and I'll be like, I'm glad you said this to me. Thanks.
There's something about it, since I've been in the running for a long time, I'll download some of that stuff. The latest one was Keith Urban because all these people went gaga over him. He came here to town. I was like, what's this all about? I'm glad I have Amazon Music because I'll like just download it. I'm like, I'll check it out. We'll see.
Yeah.
Great to run to. He's just, but I don't know if it's much of an inspiration to a lot of people, but it's not everybody's cup of tea, but it's got a lot of energy to it. And I can't believe the guy's Australian. He sounds like he did grow up in Nashville.
That's so true. I have an older video I did where I talk about cursive singing. Do you know about like the way that younger people are pronouncing words when they sing and how it just sounds almost foreign? Like they'll say like good instead of good.
Yeah, 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 no, yeah, okay, yeah. GUD.
Yeah, and like so I made a video about that and I did mention Keith Urban in that video because I was like I say something like at first I thought that it was like just these young artists trying to maybe sound Australian, but I was like the Australians I know sound like this. And then I have a clip of Olivia Newton-John going, "Let's get physical."
Yeah.
Physical and Keith Urban singing. They sound American, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah. They obviously listen to a lot of American stuff growing up, but we don't watch their stuff or listen to their stuff too much, except for Men at Work. We're huge. I mean, that's the first one that comes to mind. Anybody from
yeah, right.
Australia? That was huge, huge. I remember that back in the day.
But
Wow.
yeah, I think Keith Urban's a great musician. I liked him on American Idol too. He seemed like a really nice down to earth guy too. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, there's just this formula in new country music where like 11 people write the songs and they always have to have some reference to uh, God and the Bible and a dashboard and in short shorts. I mean, it's just like really and a can of beer. Like if you don't have if you don't have all of these things in your song, maybe you won't get a hit. And I just miss the honesty that was in a country song, you know, back when Patsy Cline was singing people's compositions or Willie Nelson, you know, I love Willie Nelson and Loretta Lynn and Dolly Parton and I really like you know, Randy Travis and Ronnie Millsap and
Yeah, oh my
Garth
God.
Brooks. Like those were some really good songs from the heart, I felt like. And you didn't have to paint this picture of yourself as really what kind of a person do I want to be perceived as being. Um, yeah, I don't know, or who do I want to appeal to? So it seems like who do I want to appeal to is such a part of marketing in especially brand new country music. I know there are some exceptions. There's some people still writing really nice, honest songs, but if you look at the songs, there are 11 people writing the songs, which just feels less genuine to me, you know?
Yeah, that has, and it happens in pop music too. Look at
Absolutely.
Beyonce. Beyonce's got like a team of 15 for every song. It's like ridiculous. You see them
Yeah.
at the Grammys, and the list is like almost the entire
Right.
screen. It's
Yeah.
like,
Even Taylor Swift too. Like
yeah,
I prefer things that she wrote. Come on, like, and I
yeah,
think
yeah.
people do too. I don't think they want something churned out of a machine. I think that's why. Well, I know. I mean, Chappell Roan blew up so big, and she did have other people writing her songs with her as well. But her songs felt a lot more heartfelt and like they were unique to who she was. You know.
Yeah, yeah, incredible. Wow. Good stuff. I enjoy this. I like the PDFs on your website. That's a brilliant idea. And paying you through PayPal and things like that. So check it out, AimeenNolte.com. No relation to Nick Nolte, I suppose. I don't even know of
No.
anybody who knows Nick Nolte anymore. It's just,
Yeah, I don't think they do. It would be my husband if that's because it's his name, but no relation that he knows of. Actually, I think if you Google my name, the first thing that comes up is Aimee Nolte father. I think people are curious to know if that's my dad.
yeah, I bet that's it. That
Yeah.
probably is. Like, no, I took that name. Sorry. Cool. All on the West Coast there. It's great. And you know, have a good connection. It seems like people on the West Coast have issues with their connections. I'm glad that this had worked out today.
Oh, good. Yeah, me too.
I appreciate you stopping by and best wishes on your tours and your future music. And you can go on the website here and there's so much stuff here, piano yoga, gear teaching, your recordings. Good stuff. It's a really nice
Thanks, Bob.
website.
It's really nice to get to talk to you today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Take care.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye.
Well, I hope you really enjoyed that. Just a really wonderful person, just great disposition, great personality. Wonderful to connect with Aimee and so gifted. Really, really enjoyed that. Go to the website, AimeenNolte.com, and you'll see that wonderful music, a lot of PDFs you can get a hold of, and has a wonderful YouTube channel where she does a lot of demo and really gets everybody into it. Great speech as she does in these videos. So anyway, I will see y'all soon. Have a good one.